Before a session, I always have a band fill out kind of a confirmation form which has like a questionnaire sort of component to it. So I always gather the musicians' names ahead of time and have those written down before they arrive. And I always know what instruments to expect so that I know where to set up my microphones and how to arrange the rooms in the ISO booths. And then they always also provide a link to some kind of recording so that I can get a taste of their music. And especially if there's a live video recording, that's really useful, just so that I know who likes to stand to who, and so that I have an idea of what kind of quality to expect, so that I can meet them there instead of expecting one thing and then trying to like force a take out of them that is impractical. I always make sure to be mostly set up before the client arrives, because there's nothing that kills the energy of a recording session like a band having to wait for an engineer having to plug in microphones. And then once the session gets rolling, I make sure to check in with the musicians periodically, especially to make sure that their headphones are sounding right. I've had some bands in the past who it was their first time in the recording studio and they didn't even know to listen for latency. And unfortunately, my latency was set to be super long, so they were having a really hard time recording, and it was totally my fault because the latency was like totally off. And so they were like blaming each other for not being in time, and then I had to fess up to my mistake. So checking in with them to make sure that their headphones are sounding like they would expect them to sound is really important. I always send a band home with really great sounding rough mixes at the end of a session. And if they're already really stoked on the way that things sound, then I've done a good job.